At first glance, Grounded looks like a survival crafting game for kids, but does it also have what it takes for adults to like it? Watch on and find out.
My name is Thoraxe, and this is Strategy for Busy People. If you've got a few minutes, I'll tell you what to play.
Warning, if you suffer from arachnophobia or fear of other insects, you probably should not watch this review. On this episode of Survival Crafting for Busy Kids, we've got we're looking at Grounded by Obsidian Entertainment. I've got just under 8 hours in this game, and this time, I brought a friend. Yes, if you just choked on your beverage, you heard me correctly. I was able to find another human that was willing to tolerate me long enough to game together. My buddy Ninsha told me about this game because he and I have played a few survival crafting titles together in the past. He thought I might like it. He even offered to dedicate some time to play together, and I took him up on the offer. In what should come as a surprise to absolutely no one, Grounded starts with you not knowing what is going on, having nothing in your inventory, not having any skills, and needing to figure out how to quickly start surviving. The interesting plot twist in this survival crafting title is that you have been miniaturized in what resembles something out of the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids movie. You are a teeny tiny human who is now smaller even than ants, and you find yourself in a backyard somewhere trying to figure out what happened to you. And of course, you have no memory of how you got here. As you go through the story mode, yes, I just said story mode. This is one of those survival crafting titles that has a real story for you. I mean, it also has a generic sandbox mode where you can do whatever you want to your heart's content, but there's a real honest-to-goodness story to follow here, and that fact creates a mixed bag of experiences. Anyway, the story. You pick up recordings from what seems like a scientist who was here before you, and that helps you to start remembering the things that you forgot, including, perhaps, how you got here. The game is open world in the sense that you can wander around the entire yard, but it's got a fixed map. That map is relatively large compared to your own personal size, and it can take quite some time to get all the way across it. One of the mixed experiences for me in story-led survival crafting games is the level of hand-holding that is given to you regarding what to do and when to do it. From my perspective, Grounded tells you about missions you probably will not yet be ready to do before it has guided you through gearing up or figuring out what equipment you need to do it. For me, personally, one of the first big missions is to go to this treetop, or technically hedge top area, to find more labs and get some stuff, but it didn't really tell you to gear up before you got there. Somehow, I didn't realize or even find any acorns, which would have helped me build much better armor. So I went to the hedge and kept getting my butt kicked by the few creatures that were there. This was less than ideal. Speaking of creatures, most of the creatures in this game are insects, given that you are tiny and outdoors in a yard. Aphid, ants, mosquitoes, bees, and all manner of other insects are your foes. One thing this game does really well is giving each of the enemies unique characteristics in terms of attacks, patterns, strengths, and weaknesses. By analyzing the insect, you can learn these things about it, which helps you craft your strategy of attack. See what I did there? Ugh, sheesh, never mind. Typically, defeated insects will drop body parts that you can then use to craft things from or to eat. Yes, this is a rather morbid way to put it, but then again, most survival crafting games require you to kill animals and then make things from their carcasses. It's just extra weird because in Grounded, they're insects, not animals. Grilled grub, anyone? Crafting in this game is pretty typical, with somewhat expected crafting stations and transformation stations available for you to build. While you can build a base depending on where you build it, you may not even need to really build walls, as the insects can't get to you in certain places to destroy your base. Or you'll find out that, yes, that spider really can climb up that leaf and get into your base. Oops. And, as one might expect, you have the typical-ish types of crafting materials available to you, only transposed into a form that makes sense for a backyard. Instead of trees, you chop down grass and weeds to get various materials to build walls and floors from, and so on and so forth. Anyway, speaking of animal parts, most of your armors are constructed of things that include animal parts. And there is quite a lot of armor in this game. This is another example of something that I liked on the one hand. You could have different sets of armor for different things you might want to do. Going on a big materials gathering run? Outfit the worker ant armor, which buffs your carrying capacity. That's just one example. On the other hand, this ends up being that the decision matrix and crafting matrix for activities in the game starts to spiral out of control really quickly. With only a few hours into this title, I had at least half a dozen choices of different families of armors and not really any idea when I might need to use them. I mean, sure, I could guess that the gas mask might help when fighting stink bugs, and while many choices are likely obvious in hindsight, there are still many choices, which can be a bit annoying. As you pick up different things or even craft things in this game, you can scan them in this scanner thing, which then unlocks more recipes for yet other things. So you don't have the ability to build the ant part armor until you scan the ant parts with the scanner. There's also a different computer you can use for daily quests that give you science points, and science points can then unlock certain even more advanced recipes or grant you other things. I guess if you were playing this game with the intention to play this game for a really long time, the daily quests and other scenarios are somewhat interesting, and I guess, in a way, reminiscent of the radio station in something like Icarus that gives out small missions.
Before I give my final verdict, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to share it with your friends. Agree with me, disagree with me, or want to see other content? Let me know in the comments below. Want to try this game yourself? Check out my humble affiliate link below. And if you want to support me in making more of these videos, become a patron on Patreon. Your support really makes a difference. The final verdict.
This is a typical survival game with the expected tropes. You have to eat and drink and heal. Creatively, Obsidian Entertainment did an excellent job of taking the traditional survival crafting formula and transposing it into a backyard scenario. While the story is totally kid-appropriate, it could easily keep you entertained as an adult. This game features an absolute pantload of amazing quality-of-life features that other survival crafting games should learn from. Storage management, equipping different things to your character, and so on and so forth. Obsidian really thought through a lot of the things that make life so easy. But in spite of all that, somehow I found this game extremely grindy when playing solo, and not very much fun at all. Having to trek back and forth across the yard to find specific insects to get certain parts to build armor or crafting stations somehow ended up feeling like a chore and not like fun. I don't know why that is, because I don't mind that type of thing at all with Icarus. On my trademarked 3-point score scale of avoid, meh, and I forgot to eat, while I did enjoy getting to play with a friend, and while this is really an extremely solid game, for me, personally, it just didn't click. Meh. So I had to give up eating grilled and roasted insect parts and leave the yard to go off on my own and find my own meal of shrimp. Which, I guess is still a lot like eating an insect, except it comes from the ocean?